So here are the hinges. And you can see they're painted. They came out looking really sweet. So it was really difficult to get these painted because I couldn't hang them up like I wanted to paint them, because I have to work on the hood, and these hinges have to be ready by the time the hood is ready. So I had to paint them in the same spray area as the hood, which is the other side of this. You can see the hood is on the other side. So I had to go ahead and spray it on the floor. And what I did was I just laid them down, and when I laid them down, it was like painting these hinges 18 times each, because I did all three processes. I did the red oxide sealer, and then I did the base coat, and then I did the clear coat. Now, why 18 times? Because first I had to spray them in the fully open position. Then I had to close the hinge and then spray the areas like under here wasn't really coated. When the hinges start moving, it starts revealing areas where it's not fully coated. And I try to get in there, you know, I didn't want to get any runs, so I try to get it inside every nook and cranny, and I succeeded. And the only way to succeed is to paint it many times with thin coats. So I did that with sealer, and then again I did that with the base coat, and then again I did that with the clear coat. And I put 3 coats of base so that I get a nice deep red, and then I did 3 coats of clear. So I did both sides. Here's the other side. Now, obviously, because it's laying down on the floor, okay, the way I did it was first I sprayed it, I sprayed the backside. I started always with the backside. Then I waited to flash, and then I did, you know, I closed the hinge and then sprayed it again on the backside. Wait till that flashed. After it flashed, I picked it up and then laid it down on the painted side. Now, with the base coat dries pretty quick, so when I laid it down, minimum damage was done to the paint. And then I repeated, I did that. Now after I finished the front, I had to flip it again. Now when you flip it, this is the parts that will be touching on the ground. So nothing really gets damaged that's critical. Now for the other side, so you have an idea of what gets damaged, that's the part that actually touches. That's it. So, and then of course up here, and that's it. So you know, this whole, let me lay this down, this whole area is going to be bolted up against the body, so it would not be seen. So that I didn't care. So that's why I painted the back sides first, so that when I flipped them over, the front sides had the best coating. And that's what I did with the hinge setup. And I did that for both. And I'll show you what the other one looks like on the back side. You see? You can see it's rough. So it's not too bad. Then I did a touch-up. Now after it had flashed, and I was laying them down as so, after I finished doing them 18 times this hinge, 18 times that hinge, I had to hang them. So what I did was I used some of my weld wire, and I grabbed some of the weld wire and I tied it up onto this hole, the back hole, because when the hinges are on the car, this is hardly seen. So I tied it there, and there was no, you can see there's no damage done. So I tied it up, and then I hung the hinges. After I hung the hinges, I took my clear coat and I gave it a nice misting on everything, especially the areas that were damaged. And that's why when you're looking at the backside, even though there was some mishap, it's still cleared. I can probably sand that down a little bit to make it look better, you know, block sand it, but like I said, it's not going to be seen, so why bother? So those are the two hinges, and then let's give you an idea of what it's going to look like. Here's the black, and that's what it's going to look like. I think it's going to look killer. Let's do it on this one. I see it. We're going to have the hinge, the spring on the red hinge. It's just going to look awesome. Yeah. So that was the plan, and those are the hinges. That's how they came out. So they're here now, and they look great, and it's all finished. So that's the update on the hinges. I think they came out great, but it is a hard task. It took a couple hours to paint these, literally a couple hours, about 2 to 3 hours to paint them, between all the flash times that I had to do, between all of the paint jobs done to each hinge. That's why it took a couple hours to do. So that's the update on the hinge. These are the old hinges that are now renewed, and it looks great. So thank you very much for watching.